Good morning, Lolo Madonsela from Daily Sun. I just want to get some clarity ukuthi why Emakhazeni specifically ukuthi the hospital should be built there. The last question is how much is expected to be spent on the construction of the hospital?
Good morning, Sfiso from Rise FM News. I just wanted clarity on number 14 of the Executive Council statement, where it says that COGTA has been tasked with guarding against appointing people outside the employ of government to run initiation, but should limit the establishment of the team to government employees and the House of Traditional Leaders. It's a very vague. I need clarity on that. What does it exactly mean?
Thank you very much. I'll respond to a few questions that are speaking to that are related to the statement. I think the first one has to do with the selection of the site, the proposal by the Executive Council that the area of Emakhazeni should be considered. I think the main consideration was based on understanding that it's very difficult to deal with, patients, psychiatric patients, and therefore one of the challenges that in your conventional hospitals, the infrastructure to make sure that the psychiatric patients don't affect other patients is always a challenge. Secondly, you also want to make sure that they are in an area that is a bit far removed from the area that is busy, as it is happening in the case of hospitals that we have now. So that's the only consideration, so that you make sure that in case they have to walk out of the areas where they are placed, you are sure that the risk on other patients or on members of community is limited. It's not like that was the consideration, because that geographic area has that advantage that you have open spaces. In terms of the feasibility study, I think that the decision of the executive was focused on ensuring that the Department of Health looks for land around that area. And of course, in any development, there are processes that need to happen, the EIAs and all the necessary planning processes, once the land selection has been done. So all the other processes will then follow. If we could request perhaps to confirm other two figures, because we don't have those two figures on hand, especially the number of cases, but those numbers can be confirmed with the Department of Health and be communicated. Also the consolidated budgets, because it's a multi-year project, so we will have to go and check the amounts that are put aside from a multi-year perspective to see what the total costing of the hospital will be. Just to explain the issue of the initiation, not appointing people outside the employ of government. Perhaps it's important to explain the context. The context was coming from the proposal that we could consider appointing people and paying stipends so that they monitor the whole initiation process. But I think ESCO made a consideration that perhaps that could be problematic, because there are sensitivities around this process. You need to make sure that from a cultural perspective, you do not appoint people and create unintended incentives, that this process should be incentivized through stipend. So it was made in that context. It's better to do it through the protocols of the Institution of Traditional Leaders, the House of Traditional Leaders, because that is where issues of traditional leadership are managed. But it also would work better so that where you have specialist support and experts from Department of Health, those are drawn directly from government, rather than using outside people or private sector experts that would maybe charge exorbitant fees, which really could not be affordable, because this is not a private enterprise. It's more of a cultural and traditional issue. Thank you very much, Honorable MC.
Yeah, thank you. I think the DG has covered all the issues, but is correct. We may not give exact figures. Remember, issues of mental health are dealt with by two departments, Department of Health and Department of Social Department, on the side of the drug abuse, wherein the minors are referred to tax rate. But what we can say is that all the difficult mental health problems, all are referred to Gauteng in both Westcott, Peace and Sterkfontein. But if figures are needed one day when we have such a meeting, we may bring figures. And again, on the issue of Emakazin, that Emakazin, if you can see, it has land, plenty of land, and all the other studies will be done. Thank you very much.